Hello, it's Rebecca and today is another book review day and this is my whatever number book I have been reading for the 2015 reading challenge. I have lost count, but I think it's somewhere 20 something ish. Anyway, I will put a little link down below in the description box to explain what the challenge is about, but basically it's to read 52 books over a year, with each book coming from a different category. And the book that I've been reading this time comes from the category of a book with over 500 pages. And I have a huge aversion to reading books more than about 300 pages, so this one took me a while. But I have been reading House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski, and this one has, where are we, 709 pages. So I will read you the blurb. It's quite a long blurb because it's quite a long book, and then we'll have a little discussion. Johnny Truant, wild and troubled sometime employee in an LA tattoo parlour, finds a notebook kept by Zampano, a reclusive old man found dead in a cluttered apartment. Herein is the heavily annotated story of the Navidson record. Will Navidson, a photojournalist, and his family move into a new house. What happens next is recorded on videotapes and in interviews. Now the Navidsons are household names. Zampano, writing on loose sheets, stained napkins, crammed notebooks, has compiled what must be the definitive work on the events on Ash Tree Lane. But Johnny Truant has never heard of the Navidson record, nor has anyone else he knows, and the more he reads about Will Navidson's house, the more frightened he becomes. Paranoia besets him. The worst part is that he can't just dismiss the notebook as the ramblings of a crazy old man. He's starting to notice things changing around him. Immensely imaginative, impossible to put down, impossible to forget, House of Leaves is thrilling, terrifying, and unlike anything you have ever read before. And that is certainly right. I have never read anything like this before. The only thing that comes close, and I can't think of the author's name off the top of my head, but the book is called Raw Shark Texts. And that is a very, very strange book. Really enjoyed it. This is another very strange book. I did enjoy it, but it also felt a bit too long. Basically, it's the story of a family who move into a house, and it's a normal suburban American house and nothing is out of the ordinary, until one day they notice a new door at the end of the hallway downstairs. And if that was me, if a new door suddenly appeared in my house that I knew that I hadn't built and that nobody in my family had built, I would run. I wouldn't even open it. I would run. But they're curious. Well, the husband, Will Navidson, Karen, his wife, doesn't want him to go anywhere near it, but Will is curious. And he opens the door, and it's black and dark. And he wants to go in, but his wife is terrified of what could be lurking in the space behind this door. And she, although is scared, doesn't tell her husband to leave the house. And like I say, if that was me and something new like a doorway appeared in my own home, I would absolutely freak out. But Will is just really intrigued, and he notices that the house on the inside is bigger than the house on the outside, and he spends a lot of time measuring the length of the house inside and then going outside and realising that something doesn't match up, something's not right. It's weirdly, I don't know, it's just a weird old situation. So he gets his brother and some friends, and they decide they want to go exploring behind this door to find out what there is. And while they do this, they set up cameras around the house. They have cameras that they carry with them, video cameras, to record this expedition. Will is not allowed to go. His wife says he must stay in the main part of the house, which he does, but he hates the fact that he has to do this. And his friends and his brother go in, and they tie fishing wire around their waists so that they can find their way back, because it is door after door after corridor after door of labyrinthine craziness. And while this group of men is in this strange part of the house, they realise that the walls move, and that finding their way back isn't as easy as it should be. If you walk in, you should be able to walk straight back out again, but you can't. And all of this is being filmed, and things get stranger and stranger and stranger. They hear noises in this space behind the door, as well as strange noises in the house. And it is quite frightening, and I don't know whether it's because I'm just scared of everything, but I would run. I would not have stayed in that house a second longer. But Will is so fascinated, and he almost becomes obsessed with what's behind this door, and he wants to travel the distance of this space behind the door. And in some occasions, it could be just a few feet. And then other times he'll open the door and it would go on for miles. And eventually he does go into this room, into this whatever. It's dark, it's pitch black. They have torches and flares, but still there's nothing worth taking note of. There's nothing on the walls, nothing on the ceilings. It's just all very dark and strange. And he goes in for days and days, and they keep going in and out and in and out, and they have to take in provisions and water and food and sleeping bags, because they could just be walking for miles and miles and miles and days and days and days. And it is so peculiar. And what makes this book even more interesting and weird is that it's made up of so many layers of stuff. You have the main story of the Navidson house, the films that they made while exploring this strange thing becomes an actual film, a movie that anyone can watch. So this guy Zampano watches this film and almost writes an essay about it with footnotes and images and all various bits and pieces. Then Johnny Truant finds this paperwork in the old man's house and annotates it himself. So it's almost 3 stories in one. And some of the pages, I won't lie, contain a couple of words, an odd word here and there. It's almost poetic in places, with just a little, you know, a little bit here and there. And then others will just be jam-packed, full of words, going in different directions, up and down and all over the place, and footnotes and boxed off sections. It's such a strange book in both story and construction. And I can't say that I didn't enjoy it, because I did, and it was frightening. A lot of reviews I've read have said that it is very, very scary, and I would agree. And perhaps I should have read this for a book that scares you, but then that means I would have had to have read another book that was over 500 pages, and it would just have taken forever. But I liked it. I liked almost the disjointed nature of it, the way that you jump from here to here to here, and you're involved in so many different people's lives. It's quite a sad story. I won't tell you what happens at the end, but it is an intriguing book, and the references made to a lot of credible sources make it almost seem real. I know it's not real, but it makes it feel real. It reads like a textbook. So if you're looking for something kind of flowery and more, I don't know, something that you just grab off what we have at work, which is called like the quick reads, which is just a book that's easy to read, it's fun, and you know, there's not much to it. This is very deep, it's very hard going, it's very, very thick. Like I say, it's over 700 pages. But I think it's worth it. It did take me 2.5 weeks to read because it is heavy going, but really, really enjoyable. And I think if you're not afraid of big fat books like I am, I'd give this a go, because it's just weird, and I like weird things. I can't help it. So I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I found this one, and I'm glad I gave it a go, because it really is worth it. It really, just the way it's set out, the fonts that are used, the structure of the book. This is an intelligent guy. He knows what he's doing. I don't know if he's written any other books. I will have to hunt him down and see. But like I say, I really, really did like this one. So if you are interested in any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out every time I've read a book. I also do shameless self-promotion, where I talk about my own writing, and I occasionally give writing advice and do other writing bits and pieces. Anything to do with writing, really. So if you're interested in reading and or writing, then please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.